Hey y'all, hey everybody, hey. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. Welcome. Child, you know this thing don't go right unless we have some technical difficulties going on. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way, that's the nature of the beast, and that's just how things go in this technical world, right? But if we were sitting in front of a studio, we probably wouldn't be well, knowing that it's me. Child, please, we probably still have some problems. Well, welcome. Welcome to Mission to Mental Health. I am your host. I'm your host, y'all. Look, I can say I'm a host. Look, I can also say I'm a mental health advocate. I'm Jackie Robinson. I'm so happy to have y'all here with me tonight. I'm so excited. I got a special guest for you guys. She's the one who keeps these edges laid, fried, dyed, and when I say dyed, I mean dyed, because y'all know I keep it dyed and laid to the side. Now, don't get on here talking no crap about the way you got your hair slicked up with all your daughter's gel in your head, slicked down, because I know you tied it down before the show. I know she ain't do that to your head, and you are absolutely correct. She didn't. You know why? Because that girl been on the vacay, and that's okay, because when she's on vacation, I always make a way, right? So I had to, London, let me get that gel, London. Let me get that gel, and I laid these edges on down. So your girl is ready to go. She got her lips popping and all that good stuff. She is ready to roll. So my guest, she's hanging out in the background. I'm so excited for her to be here. I'm going to bring her on in a few seconds. I just want to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Dana Green. When I met her, she was Dana Carr, boo. Well, her name is Dana Green because she's what? She's married now. She's been married for quite a while. I want to say probably about 6 years or so. It's been a minute. So she's a great friend of mine. She is an inspiration, y'all. She is what they call a philanthropist. Yes, that girl is a jack of many trades, but I'm not going to steal all her shine and all her bio. Oh, and y'all, I'm still working on the look. I'm still working on the lighting. Hopefully, I see Perkins is on there. Maybe Perkins come over here one day and help me with my lighting so I don't have all this fuzz in the background. I'm still figuring this thing out, y'all. I'm still figuring it out. God is still working on me. But check this out. I'm about to bring my guest on. Y'all show her some love. Give her some hand claps. Holler at her in the chat. She ain't doing your hair today, so don't be talking about, can I make an appointment? You got to holler at her offline about that. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to plug all of what she got going on. So I'm about to bring you all my special guest, y'all. I'm so excited. It's been weeks. I've been trying to get around here. Sister been booked up. She been busy. I've been busy. But guess what? I got her today. So stand by. I'm going to bring you all Dana Green. Dana,
Hey,
girl, you
hey,
there? Girl, we was going through some things for a minute there, right?
girl, got me sweating. I done sweated my little brows off and every damn thing.
Hey man, this thing ain't working right unless you got some technical difficulties. That's what I'm learning
I
about the show.
see.
And
I
I
see.
used to let people come on 10 minutes, well, like 15 minutes before the show.
No.
And twice, I have had issues with my technology. And it just
Yeah.
so happened I was on my girlfriend Sharita's show, the Triumphant show last
Uh-huh.
Monday. That girl made me get on an hour early.
Yeah.
She's like, I
Yeah.
ain't got time to play with y'all. An
Yeah.
hour early. So from now on, I get my folks to come on hecka early. And I'll look, you got me sweating too. Get my folks to come on hecka early because you never know, what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got you straight. I'm so glad you're here. I'm honored. I'm honored to
Uh,
have you here. I'm very honored to have you on my show. Look here. You got
well,
makeup
see,
on.
see, this is the crazy part. I'm used to you being in my territory. Now I'm in your territory.
You all up
So
in it,
this,
boo.
oh,
You all up in it. Look here, you got makeup on. Don't you let them lashes come off. No, I'm sorry, them your lashes. Like the
these
girl.
are mine.
All right, like the girl told me, your hair big. Good. Don't you let that makeup come off on this show? Well, you can because guess what? That's just what it's about. So me
And
and Dana are. Go ahead.
I am the first guest to ever bring wine
I
onto.
was getting ready to say we ain't down in no park, y'all, but we having what's called wine down Wednesday at the crib. She said, "Can I have a glass of wine?" I said, "Absolutely." You know what?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a true friend if I didn't have a glass of wine with you. So I tried. I have a glass with my name on it and I can't find it anywhere. I'm sure I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
find it as soon as I get off this stream. But we going old school. At least I didn't pull out one of them fish bowls like me and Kim used to have. Me and Kim used
And
to
you guys feel free to grab some wine of your own. It's okay.
right. So we wind down Wednesday in it, y'all. So
Yeah.
Dana, I'm so honored that you are here, that you're here to share your story. Tell
Yeah.
the listeners a tad bit about you. Not a tad bit. Tell them about you. Tell them everything that you do. And make sure before we go that they have information about Hungry Hearts and
Uh-huh.
everything else that you got going on.
Okay. Well, to start, I've been doing Jackie's hair probably as long as I've been in the industry. I've been in the industry for 21 years. I'm a hairstylist and I own a hair rock salon. I'm also an author of two children's books, Today and Tomorrow's Blended Family. I also have a nonprofit organization that I founded and am a philanthropist where we take care of the needs of low income families and the homeless. And that normally ties into not only my background with my father being mentally ill, but also having to deal with um, people on the streets that are mentally ill. So all of it ties in together. And there's more to come. I got other stuff that I'm doing. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. So tell the listeners about how you got started with Hungry Hearts and what led you down that journey.
What led me, it started as just an outing with a Facebook group. We wanted to have some type of outreach. And I ended up being a part of a particular group, and we went out and we fed the homeless down on Trinity Avenue. If any of you guys are familiar with Trinity, you already know down the street from the Greyhound bus station and all of that, you already know what's going on down there.
Oh, you
So
talking about down by Magic City?
yes, down by Magic
Uh-huh.
City.
You have to say
So
it so they know. You say Greyhound, these folks drive. They ain't catching no Greyhound. Tell them Magic City. They know where that's at.
we went down there to feed, and when we left, I just did not feel satisfied with just doing it one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started off where um, it was, just people who wanted to join me. And then next thing you know, I had a couple of times where it was just me going out there and feeding. And then next thing I know, more and more people join me, and we are working out there. We're in
How
the
long
process.
has it been now?
It's been almost 11 years.
11 years.
11
I
years. So
remember when you started.
we're trying to find a new location now to feed. Um, and we can always go to shelters, but I just like meeting people where they are. And if feeding them on the street is what it's going to take, then that's what I want to do.
And when do you go? Just in case, anyone who's listening says, hey, you know what? I want to join her.
We
When do you go?
we go every third Saturday of the month. We've been off for the last 2 months, just with me just vacationing, and then on top of that, trying to find a new location to
Right.
feed. So every third Saturday, and my goal is to get a food truck where we can do it more often.
Mhm.
Similar to like an ice cream truck kind of style where they can just walk up and get food and healthy food at that, not just,
Right.
a bologna sandwich or something like that, a meat and two vegetables. So that's our goal, is to eventually get a food truck to be able to do that.
It's gonna happen. We already
Yeah,
know that's gonna happen.
yeah, yeah.
We've already
I'm
predicted that.
excited.
Yeah, we already know that's gonna happen. I remember one time we were having a conversation. You were telling me that you found out that your grandmother fed the homeless too, right? Was it your
No,
grandma or
I found out my grandmother was a hairstylist, and I didn't know. I didn't find out until her funeral that she had been a hairstylist. That's on my dad's mom.
right?
My great grandmother on my mom's side was a hairstylist too. So yeah, that's when I
Yeah,
found out that.
yeah. So you want to share a little bit about your family? You got some cheering and all that good stuff, and a husband,
Yes,
and
yes.
they
I
doing
got
some
I,
great
I got a
things.
good old husband that's right over here making some salmon, and y'all probably heard a little blowtorch and beeping and all kinds of stuff.
Go Raiders! Woo woo!
You want to come say hey?
You might as
And
well.
I have my husband, Mike Green,
Mhm.
and then I have two bonus babies that are 18 and 16. They're not babies no more, but I call them my
Oh,
babies.
Hi, brother. Hi,
um,
brother.
yeah, so hubby and then two bonus babies.
Absolutely. And you're forgetting two special little pooches.
Yeah, one of them just tried to jump in my lap and I had to see him off. I got two boxers, grits and gumbo.
Grits and
One
gumbo.
is
I love
88,
grits and
one is
gumbo.
88 pounds and the other one is 75, 80 pounds. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they not babies, they big old babies. Those
they
are
big
big
babies.
old
Yes,
babies. Yeah,
yes,
big old
they're
babies.
big babies.
So, this show is about mental health. And
Yes.
so we getting ready to dive into it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I've been telling everybody to watch you to because you are the first guest who has this particular story. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who care for their loved ones and things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
typically their loved one has Alzheimer's or dementia, and they don't have to go so far to have guardianship of them and things like that. They pretty much
Right.
put them in facilities, and the facilities do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's not your story, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So how did mental health enter your life?
Oh man. And my mom is the ultimate memory of every family function or happenstance or whatever. So mom, I want to apologize now if I skip over something. Because she's watching.
Hi, Mama
But
Sheila.
so it started out, I was very young. And my dad had he went after Vietnam to pretty much, she said that he was like military police,
Right.
went over there pretty much after Vietnam. And when he came back, just from stories that I've heard, when he came back, he started having different symptoms of
Hmm.
sarcosis. So it was just different situations where he felt like people were looking at them. Like she said, there'd be times where they would be laying in the bed and he felt like somebody was looking through the roof at them, just different things that was just showing that he was having these mental episodes. And so she tried to go to the courts, pretty much to get help when it came to him. And the judge was pretty much like, well, ma'am, I just think you guys are having marital problems. You guys need to work it out.
Mm.
So then at that time, my mom was young. She had me at 21. So I believe my dad was maybe 25 or something like that.
Right. And how,
So
how old were you at the time?
I probably may have been 3 or 4 because she left when I was around 4 or 5. So it may have been around 3 or so.
Hmm.
And so just different things. More, it started getting worse. And then he became violent. And so it was just a situation where, she had to choose between her safety and protecting me
Right.
and or staying married.
Right.
And so thankfully she did end up staying married to him because that ended up helping me legally on down the road when it came to having him committed and, going back to the courts to do everything all over again.
Right. So when you were that age, before mom left, do you have
Mhm.
any memory of your father before your mom decided to leave? Do you have any
Yeah,
memory of
yeah.
him? Because you were a
Um,
baby, really.
right. The memories that I do have were of him in the good times. So I remember him just adoring me and just, I was daddy's girl. I was the only child, so I was daddy's girl, and I pretty much got my way. So my mom was saying that, that was another reason why she noticed a change in him is because he whooped me, but he whooped me um, like he broke the buckle off of a belt when he whooped me.
Right.
And she said that's how she knew that he was changing mentally, because that just wouldn't have happened if he was in his regular mental state.
Right. So did he receive a diagnosis?
Initially, no,
So
no,
where was he? When
he
mom
was
left, where
paranoid.
did he go?
He was paranoid schizophrenic, and he was violent. At the time when my mom left, my grandmother took over. His mom took over, and so I think with her, I don't want to speak for her. Um, and she's deceased now. But I believe for her, it was more so if she just didn't want to. She didn't want to go against the grain when it came to him. And so whatever he wanted, that's what he had. So she started receiving Social Security and stuff like that. I guess, military benefits or whatever the case may be for him. And he just stayed in the house that we lived in. And from the day that my mom left, he never drove either of the cars again. The cars stayed in the back of the house the same exact way that they were when she left. Like everything was just so uniform to the day of my mom leaving. So my grandmother pretty much just, allowed him to stay there. They paid certain bills. He had a time where they had a pipe that burst in the yard or something like that.
Right.
And he wouldn't let the water company into the yard to come and fix it. So, at that point, it was just like, well, we're just going to turn the water off. So even still, she allowed him to stay in the house. And I believe from the time that I stepped in, when I stepped in, it was 20 years later.
Right.
And so he had stayed in that same house for those 20 years. And so it was just a situation where someone called from my hometown and was like, hey, you might want to check on your dad because he doesn't look well. Because when he stopped driving, he walked everywhere. Everybody knew, they knew of him and that type of thing. And he walked everywhere. And so someone just said, you may want to check on him and see, how he's doing or whatnot. And so just trying to go through the process of having him committed is how I found out where he was health wise.
So we're gonna touch on that in a few seconds.
Okay.
I wanted people to understand what schizophrenia is.
Yes.
It's schizophrenia, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Paranoid schizophrenia.
Paranoid schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see. I got a couple little things that I wanted to share about schizophrenia, just in case people didn't know.
Okay.
So schizophrenia is a chronic and severe neurologic, goodness, I can't even talk.
That's
Neurological brain disorder. It was estimated in 2020 it affected 1.1% of the population, or approximately 2.8 million adults in the United States, 18 years older. Now, keep in mind, this is a 2020 study.
Yeah.
We're now in 2022. You can imagine after the pandemic, I'm sure the numbers have grown. But one thing about schizophrenia, it is not the most prevalent or the most common mental health disorder. It's a small percentage of people that have it, but they say approximately 1 of every 100 people in the United States has this disorder.
Wow.
Approximately 2.5 million Americans are living with schizophrenia today, and there are over 100,000 new cases each year. So even though it's not number one on the spectrum, it is common. It's there.
Yes. Yeah.
And people don't really understand how it affects people or what it means. A lot of times people like to say it's crazy. So it only affects about 1% of the population, but schizophrenia is the most disabling disease of affecting humans.
Yeah.
It's the most disabling disease. There is no cure for schizophrenia. There is treatment, but there is no cure for it.
And let me touch on that. When I was growing up, after my mom left my dad, it was just certain situations that happened. Like if we went back home, if we were driving down the street and my mom seen my dad, my mom was she was frantic. I could see the fear on her. And I never expressed that, but I could feel it and I could see it on her. And then when I would go back home for like summer vacations and stay with my grandparents and stuff like that, Like I could be walking down the street and somebody be like, "Oh, that's Crazy Rufus' daughter," that type of thing. And I would hear it and I would just keep walking. And then I'm thinking like, like, man, he must be really scary, just, and it started being ingrained in me to a point where, now when I have to be his caretaker, it's like, I'm sitting back like I'm still afraid, because that's what has always been, in the frame of my mind. And so I really think that if you have a family member, especially with schizophrenia, if they have children, or, it's certain ways that I believe that we should approach it versus labeling them, or, calling them crazy, or making things fearful, or I think sometimes our ignorance of the illness does not allow us to embrace it and conquer it like we should within our families.
Right. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown. You don't really know what it is. You just know, okay, it's crazy, but what is it? It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think it makes it, especially when I go out to feed the homeless, it makes it easier for me to see people as they are, because I can recognize it immediately. I can recognize it, for what it is. And so I think that we just have to do better with really changing that stigma within our families about, dealing with them.
Right. It's hard to, it's kind of hard to change our old school folks because they don't really understand it. But moving forward with our generation and the ones behind us, they're a little bit more receptive to learning about mental health, especially now because we're talking about it so much. There's different illnesses. Everything's not schizophrenic.
Yes.
It can be hereditary. It can be triggering from drugs.
Yes.
It can be a traumatic a situation that happens that brings it out of somebody. They can have more than one diagnosis. Usually people with schizophrenia, they have more than one diagnosis. And I heard you say something about your dad having post-traumatic stress disorder from the military.
Yeah.
So it can be several things that brings it out. So moving forward, 20 years later, someone contacts you from your hometown and says, "Hey, I think you need to come down here and check on your dad." So what do you, now that being that you have this fear of this person, how do you go about saying, "Okay, let me go down here and see"?
I still felt like it was my duty. Like, that's my parent. It's my parent. And when I'm out here and I'm feeding people, like, I understand why they're out there, because they may have had a family member that just couldn't do it anymore, that just couldn't, like, man, especially a paranoid schizophrenic patient in your home. Anybody that does it, I don't understand how they do it.
A lot of people don't do it.
No, they don't. And so a lot of times they end up on the streets. And, and that's what baffles me too, because I hear so many people, "Oh, homeless people should just get a job." If you really knew the mental state of a lot of these people out here on the street, hell, a lot of y'all wouldn't even want to work with them, to be honest.
Right.
You wouldn't even want to work with them. But their mental capability is not even there to be able to get a job.
Right.
So when I got the call, I was all in. My mom, even though she was still legally married to him, she said, "I'll let you have that. I'll let you, if that's what you want to do, I'm here to support you." Right. And so, man, I got the call and I'm trying to figure out the steps. And they were like, "Okay, well, what we can do is, no, I take that back." I went back to courts. I didn't show up personally. But just so happened, we had the same judge that told my mama that she was having marital problems with my dad.
That man was still.
We had the same judge.
Jeez.
and he opened it up. I'm assuming he seen my dad's name. And he granted everything that I was asking for without even talking to an attorney, without talking to me or anything. So they then, the next steps were to have a sheriff to go and pick him up. And so and this wasn't even like recent stuff. This was over 20 years ago. In my mind, I'm just like, police don't know how to take care of mental people.
You
And
thought
so
about that back then. You thought about that back then.
because with him being paranoid schizophrenia, he's violent. He's known to be violent. So the first thing I'm thinking is, please tell them to not harm him. Please tell them to not harm him. And so I'm waiting. I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting on to get the call that they got him. And they called and they was like, they said, we walked to the door and we told him what we was here for. And he said, okay, let me get my briefcase. Girl, I don't know what was in this briefcase, honey. I don't know what was in this briefcase. And let him tell it. He got a whole bunch of money somewhere. And I wish he would just go on to tell me.
Just gonna give it to just let you know where it's buried at. Yeah.
Yeah. But they said, he said, let me get my briefcase. And he went to get in the car and he urinated on himself. So they knew that something health-wise was wrong.
Correct.
And they took him to a hospital to be evaluated, and come to find out that his bowels had been locked. I'm not sure for how long, but he had 3 liters of waste in his body that had just festered and just, I don't know how he made it. I don't know how he made it. And so just from there, trying to find the right housing for him because he walked everywhere, he was physically fit. And so we can't put him in a nursing home because that's for people who need some type of medical assistance.
Some rehabilitation.
Right. But then we can't put him in a regular home because what did they say? I forgot what kind of home it was, but they couldn't put him there because he still needed monitoring. He needed to be in a locked facility because he would walk away. And so they tried what they wanted to do. And they sent him to a nursing home first, and he broke a male nurse nose. Then they sent him to maybe like a group home, I'm not sure. But this particular group home, he walked back to my grandfather's house, which was maybe over 20 miles away. This is a house he never lived in. And he walked. And my grandfather called and was like, do y'all know that Rufus, he's up here. He asked me for a hot dog and he just and so I was like, oh man, like I don't know what to do because he can't come, I can't control him. So He can't come live with me. So I don't know what to do. And so then the VA got involved. And I'm so glad when I tell you it was heaven sent. It was just heaven sent.
That's a blessing because a lot of people don't have that experience when it comes to the VA.
Yeah. And so it was hard at first because I still feel like that the VA has their times where they experiment on him, like changing certain meds and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the VA they got him into a group home, and I'm so grateful for the Mullins. I hope one of them will watch it. I'm so grateful for them. He stayed with them at least, it probably was at least 10 years that he stayed with them. So it was like a group home where they had other mental patients. They made sure that they took their medicine, they cooked for him, but he was still able to have a somewhat of independent life where they would take him to get a haircut if he wanted, took him to Walmart, that type of thing. And so then his health started declining more. He was then diagnosed with dementia. So on top of the schizophrenia, affecting one part of his brain, now he has dementia affecting the other part of his brain.
Hold on 1 second. Let me read Miss Sheila's post. She said, He's diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia with homicidal and suicidal tendencies, plus now dementia.
Yeah.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
she said.
Yeah. And so, just, after that, like he has times where now he's in a nursing home,
Mm-hmm.
and he has fainting spells. They were able to get his intestines. They ended up removing a certain amount of his intestines, and
Right.
he had a colostomy bag for a minute, and then thankfully he found another doctor that was willing to try it without the bag, and he ended up doing well with that. So now he's just he's in a nursing home, and um, just battling with that. Uh, the the mental part, what I see, he's very medicated, so he doesn't have any type of emotion. He don't
I was
cry.
getting ready to ask you, how does he act? Do you go visit? And when you do visit, how was that visit? How does he act? Does he know who you are now that he has dementia on top of the
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenia and everything else? Does he know who you are?
Okay. Honestly, I don't go visit. I make sure that he has everything that he needs physically. I'm on speed dial with the nursing home. I do monthly um, meetings with them where they keeping me updated on medicines if his medicine change. The reason why I don't is because it's hard. It is hard having a parent not recognize you. And it's hard having a parent like he'll look at me and he'll be like, "You're not Dana." And so I have to spend damn near 2 hours proving to him that I am. So when I was born and he named me, my middle name is Roxette, and it's spelled Roxxette.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on my birth certificate, it's spelled with one X. And because of that, if I show him my ID, he's like, "No, my daughter's name is spelled with two X's. So you're gonna have to come better than that." And he's very, very um he has his moments where he got a badass attitude. So the last time that I did go see him, he was in Tuscaloosa. I've driven 4 hours to go see him. And I get there and he was like, "I don't want you here."
Mm.
And I said, "Well, I drove 4 hours, so your ass gonna sit here and look at me
Right.
because that's just what we gonna do." And guess what he did? He sat his ass there and looked at me, did not speak to me the entire time I was there. Because in his mind, you are not my daughter, because he remembers me as, and it took a counselor, a psychologist to tell me,
Right.
he remembers you as the 5-year-old girl that left.
Yes. Yes.
So now that you're coming back, he don't know who this grown person is trying to tell him what to do. He
Right.
want to see his 5-year-old kid.
Right.
And so I was like, man, like I never thought about it like that. So now
Yeah.
I try to be more open. Like even when I talk to him, if I call, he's very short. He don't want to talk long. He don't want to talk long. He's just like, "Who is this?" "Okay, well, and he'll be like, "Tell me your name," and all that kind of stuff. And I ask him how you doing, and he give one word answers. "I'm fine." "Do you need anything?" "No." "You still like fruit?" "Yes." "What kind do you like?" "Bananas, apples." That's just how.
Mm.
And so outside of that, it's like I just try my best to make sure physically, everything that I can do when it comes to communicating with the nursing home and that type of thing, that I do it. It's
Right.
just hard. It's hard to see him and it's hard to talk to him um, in that state. I can't I can't put it into words of how it feels. Of course, it's hurtful,
Right.
but to actually go through it and have to deal with it is, I don't know.
And it's hard to see, um,
Yes.
little girls, we always want to be our daddy's baby, our daddy's girl, right?
Yeah.
Especially like I'm my dad's only child. I have brothers and sisters, but I'm my
Hmm.
dad's only child and I'm his daughter. So
Hmm.
I was always a daddy's girl. It's five of us. So my mother can never say, well, let me just throw this in right quick in case they watching. I am her favorite. Anyway,
Yes, yes, you are.
topic at hand. She never would say out loud who her favorite was because it
Yeah,
was five of us. But my dad, on the other hand, he didn't have to say who his favorite was. I know one of my siblings gonna jump on here. They just be getting so jealous when I say that. But my dad didn't have to say who his favorite was or anything like that. I was just his only daughter. So I knew
yeah,
what it was like to be a daddy's girl, even though it's dysfunctional as hell. But
yeah.
I was still a daddy's girl. So how did it feel not being able to have that daddy's girl relationship?
You know what? It did not affect me, which is so crazy. And I don't know if maybe I just blocked it out, but it did not affect me as a kid. It never affected me as a like, oh, my dad isn't here. It didn't affect me until I got grown. Like grown, like married and grown. Like
Right. I
I'll
was
have
gonna
some
ask you that.
like I'll have some times where I'm just thinking about him and I'll just get emotional and Mike be like, what's wrong? And I'll just be like, I want my daddy. And
And
he looking at me.
especially being that you have the best baby daddy on earth. You hear me? Sometimes I'll be like, damn, I wish that joker can adopt me. You got the best baby daddy on earth. You hear me?
Thank
So when
you.
you see the relationship on how it's supposed to be, because he's
Yeah,
phenomenal with his daughter, phenomenal with her, right? There's
yeah,
no there's no question that
yeah,
she can never say I was not a daddy's girl, because you are.
yeah,
Not that the boy is not a daddy's boy, but it's something about
yeah.
that girl, right? Even
And
watching,
and and deep down in the back of my mind, I still remember how he adored me.
yeah,
So just that feeling of, like damn, and I think that's another reason why I want my own biological children as well to have that feeling. I remember how it feels for him to love me, and I remember how it felt for me to love him.
mhm.
So, man, it just, and of course, I had to go through plenty of sessions of counseling to deal with it as an adult.
Absolutely.
Because I was just always searching for that. I always just wanted a guy to love me like my daddy.
I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
did you don't want to say, fatherless daughter, because
Yeah.
it's not like he dipped out on your mama. It's not that
Right.
situation,
Yeah.
but he was sick, right?
Yeah.
And so you were fatherless. Mom didn't remarry or anything like that.
Mhm. And
Um,
she's still legally married to him.
I know it. She's
She's
still
still
married to her
legally
baby
married to
daddy.
him.
She's still married to him. And so you didn't, and you had a great mom. You know how I feel about your mama, girl.
Yeah, I
Love
know.
your mama. We all love your mama. And so, not taking any credit from her, of course, but how did it mentally affect you? What type of behaviors do you see that you had because you didn't have a father figure,
Um,
or
I think it
if
was
there were any?
I think it was um interacting with men, like being able to communicate, being able to forgive, being able to um rationalize and see perspectives outside of mine. And when I hear stories about my dad, like people tell me that he didn't take no shit. Like my daddy was about it.
Right,
So when I look back and I look at my not taking no shit self, I'm
right.
like, oh, that's probably where I get it
You
from.
got it from, well, you got some of
But
that.
but
You
here's
got some
but
of that
here's
from your
what's going
mama
on.
too,
Well, yeah, yeah.
because she
But
don't play.
here's like his was on another level. I done heard some stories. I was like, whoo, Lord, y'all stayed around for that? Like y'all stayed around my daddy to deal with that?
Right.
So and I think it's not fair that I expected men to love me like my dad. because I think that's a different level of love, a different kind of love. And I think that was a real high expectation,
Yeah.
you know, to
Yeah.
put on anybody.
To
It's
put on
not fair.
anybody.
Yeah.
Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, no man, and I believe it too, ain't
Yeah.
nobody gonna love me like my daddy did. Like
Yeah.
you can do things like my dad, but
Yeah.
my dad it's kind of like having a pet.
Mm-hmm.
I can be the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah.
Like my dog pissing all on my carpet and carrying on, right? Right. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day,
Hey,
that
honey
thing,
bun.
girl, honey bun in there with London. Cause she'll be on here barking. She'll probably be barking at the screen just because she see names on there. But she loves me unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
She loves me unconditionally. No
Yeah.
matter what I say or what I do, how much I fuss because she peed on my brand new carpet. She loves me unconditionally. Not to
Yeah.
compare my daddy to Honey
To a
Bun,
dog.
but but no matter what I did, and
Yeah.
Joy, she's on here now. Um, she knows my daddy. She knew
Yeah.
my daddy. She knew that my daddy, me and her sister, she's one of my best friends, her little
Mm-hmm.
sister. And my daddy loved me unconditionally. So there is
Yeah.
absolutely no way that a man is going to ever uh
Mm-hmm.
love me like that. I
Yeah.
mean, he'll love me, he can love me, but he'll never tolerate the crap that I put my daddy through. Most men
Mm.
are not willing to do that. So yes, that is a lot to ask from a
Yeah.
man, especially a one that's kind of dysfunctional,
Yeah.
to expect them to do, things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So mentally,
Mm-hmm.
since we're on the mental health show, what have you done to help support you with the feelings that you have
Mm-hmm.
about you, about your relationships, about people, about you're like a therapist yourself, unfortunately, because we come to the salon and sit in your chair and tell us all of our problems, not really considering our hairstylist has problems
Her
too.
own shit.
Yeah. We go in
Yeah.
there and we sit and we dump for 2 hours because we're
Yeah.
gonna be in there about 2 hours. Look, unless they one of them girls running around with a little fade, because I know all your clients. But those of us that got the kinky hair, that got to sit there for 2 hours to get that color right.
Your hair is not pink.
Not today, because I use London's gel and slicked it down. But those of us, we don't really take that into consideration with our hairstylist, right? We just
Mm-hmm.
come in and use you as a counselor. So who counsels Dana? Who helps Dana?
Ooh, I have a excellent counselor. And I think I think if I did not have him mentally, I don't know where I would be. I have no idea. He helped me to identify so many emotions and anger. I had a lot of anger. And so and I don't know where it necessarily came from. I don't know if it was just how like my life was diverted, once my mom left my dad. I'm not sure what it stemmed from. Um, but he helped me to see it for what it was and to embrace it, but leave it where it is too. Like you don't have to take that. You don't have to take it with you in the future. You don't have to, it doesn't have to make you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me want to, it made me appreciate my mental health.
Mm.
Um, a lot of times we joke around, we be like, thank God for a peace of mind. But that is real. You have to really thank God that we got people out here who they smoke one blunt and now they sick. We got people who got into a car accident and their head slammed up into the headrest and mentally something is off.
Right.
You got football players that are playing and one bad tackle and mentally they're off. It
Right.
is real. It is so real to appreciate your mental health
Right.
and to also just see it for what it is. If it's something, if you hearing voices,
Yes.
go get help for that. If you're at a point where you can admit something ain't right with me,
Yes.
go get help. It's so important to acknowledge it, to and embrace it where you are. Don't care about what people got to say. If somebody call you crazy and all this other kind of stuff, you have to protect your own mental health and the levels that it's going and all that kind of stuff. You have to protect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, when I started sharing about my daughter, they didn't diagnose her with paranoid schizophrenia. They just
Mhm.
diagnosed her with schizophrenia.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing or what. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I love
young
my India.
my India.
Mhm.
Um, dang, I lost my train of thought. You
I'm
got me
sorry.
thinking. No.
I'm sorry.
Um, people would when I started sharing her story, I used to get like look on social media, I had shared the story and I get like this these little praying hands and girl, we praying for you and um just girl, it's gonna be okay and all this kind of stuff. And in actuality, it's not okay.
No, it's not.
Not okay. It's the most anytime you have to deal with family
Yeah.
that you just can't put away or throw away or not see about, and they have a mental illness,
Mhm.
it don't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. So
Yeah.
you have to do things to take care of yourself because you can easily. Do you ever fear? Do you ever fear that this can be passed down to our green beans?
It has never been a thought.
Thank God.
It has never been a thought. Especially with everything that I have to go through for them little jokers to get here. I just my faith level just won't allow me to accept
Absolutely.
that that's gonna be. Um, my husband has expressed concern, which is,
Rightfully so.
is rightfully so. Yeah. Um, but I have never thought
Good.
about it. No.
Yeah. I mean, because it's definitely not something, well, hell, if I have schizophrenia in my family or in my ex husband's family, we don't know about it.
Yeah.
So we didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
So they do say, that it can be hereditary or something. So it is not something that we worried about happening. So you never know. You just
Now, my
never know.
dad does have a brother. I don't know, and maybe my mom can chime in. My dad has a brother who also is mentally ill. I don't know what he has, but he's homeless in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and every now and then I'll hear people, say, "Oh, I seen him," or that type of thing. But I don't know. I have no idea of his status or anything like that.
Right. So the good part about you is, you have turned into the yoga queen, the meditation queen, the
Mhm.
crystals queen, the queen, the I
Yeah.
make my own toothpaste queen, the the mental wellness. You were like the mental wellness queen. I was like, damn, one day I saw a picture of you and Mike over the weekend when you guys were vacation and I saw your arms. I was like, damn, when I grow up, I need my arms look like her. I don't know what that girl's over there. She ain't but a buck on 5. Well, according to my mom,
Ooh,
on a couple pounds. So you a buck 10 now. How she lifting all that weight on them arms? Boy.
girl, you're a mess. A mess. A mess. Man. Yes,
So
you do
we
have
down to our
to.
last 10. We're down to you have to keep your wellness in check. You have
Yeah,
definitely have to keep it.
you do.
Not just that, a support system works as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
great that you have a good therapist. It's great that you understand mental wellness,
Mm-hmm.
and a support system is
Yeah.
also very. And you do have a good support cat over there. You know, my brother's a pretty good guy. And even though,
Yeah.
look, even though he almost got took out before the wedding, he almost got took out. Yeah, I know the story. He almost got took up out of here, but we saved him. We saved him. So you
Yeah,
know, it's great to have a good support system.
it
Um,
is.
Gardening. So you do a lot of things to keep your mental health in check. And so
Mm.
we got like 10.
I
Go
want to
ahead.
I want to say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I have talked about this, but we have not really moved on it. I think it is so important that we really work on changing laws when it comes to mentally ill people.
Yes. What kind of laws would you like
I
to?
really think you and I should work on that, because it should not be hard to have your family member, your parents, your child. It shouldn't be hard to have them committed when you have proven time and time again that they are a threat to themselves, to society, to anything like that. It should not be that hard. It
Yes,
should
it
not
is.
have to cost your whole retirement and everything else, your whole life, to
Right.
put your loved one in a position where they're safe, and where they're safe from themselves or safe from hurting anybody else. And
Right.
it's so crazy that you have these laws. Like with my dad, they would tell me, well, it's not much we can do unless you can prove that he is a harm to himself or a harm to society. Okay, so you want something to happen first before I can prove that? When you have all these charts, medical charts, where you have evaluated him and you see that he believes that he's 16 years old and he's in his 60s,
Right.
like all these different things, or you see all these medications that you're pumping into his body, and you can't, and for some reason that doesn't tell you or prove to you that he's not mentally
Absolutely.
capable of, being in a facility. It's so crazy to me. And I
They
really think, anybody that's watching, I know, Jackie, y'all have the petition that, with India's law and all the different things. You guys pay attention when these congressmen or these anybody that's in your local district, and they start talking about stuff, start asking them about mental health and ask them what they're going to do about it.
right.
Because many of them, they bring it up to bring you in to vote, and then after that it's nothing. You don't
It's
hear
nothing.
about anything.
Right.
And that stuff has to change. Like how many people do I have to feed being mentally ill because they parents out on the streets, because not just their parents, because their family couldn't take care of them because they're violent
Right.
mentally. They're not there to be
Right.
able to sustain a peaceful home. Like,
Right.
when does that change?
You know that's very passionate for me. You know that is a thing for
This
me.
one.
Girl, take a drink. That is a thing for me because I have tried and tried and tried. And people know my struggle. People I don't have I do have to keep saying that. I choose to keep saying it. I won't stop saying it. There's no
Yeah,
reason why my daughter is sitting where she's sitting right now, because somebody should have been able to listen to me, to hear. And I'm
yeah,
not alone. I hear it all the time. Especially since I started this mission, I hear it all the time, all
yeah,
the time. You're right. We do need to, you can't sit on it. It is definitely election time. It's definitely election time.
yeah.
And it's not like I'm changing parties or anything like that. However, I do want to hear what everybody has to say, because
Everybody.
at the end of the day, this state is like 48th in the
We are
nation
horrible.
with mental health.
Hmm.
That's a shame. That's appalling. It's
Yeah,
appalling. There are two facilities in this state
yeah.
for people to go for long-term care. The third one, you have to be sent there, which is Georgia Regional. We know that. But there's two in the state. One is going to cost you about $30,000 to go for 6 weeks. One only got 10 beds, but you got thousands of people running around here needing help. So you're right. Things need to be changed, but not only do laws need to be changed, there needs to be places for people to go.
Yes.
There needs to
Yeah.
be places for them to go.
And
So
shelters is not it.
heck no, the shelter ain't it. I don't even
No.
want to be in a shelter. So,
No.
So people shouldn't have to resort to shelter life because
Nor
they're sick
jail.
or jail. Because you're sick. That ain't where sick people go.
No.
I mean, I got high blood pressure. Y'all gonna make me go stay in the shelter because I got high blood pressure? What they do that at? Because I like to eat. Y'all gonna make me go stay in the shelter because I like to eat, don't want to stop eating.
Tacos.
Y'all don't get me started on the tacos now. Because I got a taco disorder. Y'all gonna make me go stay off in the shelter? Where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? It's not right. So I agree. And I'm looking for people who want to run with me, like Dana, because I can't do it by myself. Hell, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just being honest. I don't even know what I'm doing. I just do. I just do. I wake up out my sleep 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I start writing stuff down and I try to catch a couple hours before I gotta go, go to work. But yes, that is we need to start having meetings like that. Like back in the day, SCLC used to have their meetings down off at what's the name of the little restaurant, Pascal's. How folks used to go down to Pascal's. Well, we need to go somewhere at some taqueria and go sit and
No taqueria. We can go right down there to the African American Library down on Auburn Avenue.
We can't go to the taqueria just one time.
No.
I'll show up, but after that, I'm going to the taqueria and get some tacos. I'm just saying, tacos make everything better. But we do need to start meeting, and so I'm down to about 4 more minutes, right? And I always try to leave like on a higher note. I always try to pump this thing up a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you, like I ask everybody on the show, if you had unlimited funds, 10 times the money that you're making now, 10, 15, 20 times the money you're making now. The billionaire, the billionaire in Chicago who won all that money said, you know what, Dana, I'm about to shoot you a few million for yourself. What would you do with it? What would you do with it?
Moving in mental health, period. I'm doing something to house, to feed, to get help, help families, to educate families, to support families, and definitely with the homeless. When I tell you I will be running trucks through every state. Yeah. Because everywhere you go, you see tents under these bridges.
That
you see them, and most of us drive past them. Most of us we might judge them, but just know it's a human being. That's a human being on that street when they ask you for money. That's a human being when you see them walking down there, and mentally they not right. I just like helping people, man.
What would you do for
and
Dana?
now, of course, I'm probably gonna go on vacation first.
Okay. Where are we going? We going to Bora Bora, Fiji? Where are we going?
Girl, I don't know, but we going for a whole month. Yeah. We gonna go because when we come back, we gonna hit this ground rolling.
We gotta work, right?
I want to be able to help as many people, and I want to be sitting in front of somebody's governor, in front of somebody's mayor, to get some stuff done.
Absolutely. So how can people reach out to Dana if they want to help with Hungry Hearts, if they want to buy your book, if they, I don't know if I'm gonna let them get no hair appointment.
You can go to
how do they get in contact?
You can go to my Facebook or my Instagram, The Real Dr. Green, and that will have every website, every link for Hungry Hearts, Today and Tomorrow's Blended Family, and for Hair Rocks. You can go to all of those sources from my main pages, The Real Dr. Green.
There it is. Yeah. I put it on the screen for you. The Real Dr. Green on Instagram, on Facebook, on all social media platforms. You can find, if you want to jump on the Hungry Hearts mission with her. She's homeless every 3rd Saturday of the month. If you just want to, if you don't want to go out there, you can donate. She will gladly take your funds and turn it into a turkey. Them people good. So I'm picking it up. Yeah. So, if you want to get her a case of water whatever, hit her up. You
And
can drop
if you can't help me, I want to challenge you. Everybody knows somebody that's dealing with a family member that's mentally ill. Help them out. If they're caring for their family member, go over there and give them a break a little bit.
yes,
Go take them something to eat.
yes.
Just call and see how they doing. Tell them to tell you the truth, because sometimes we may say that, but I know we just went over an hour, but just
It's okay.
help your friends and family.
Yeah, definitely. I really understand how that feels because that girl was up in here driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all get ready. I'm about to turn that right there. Hold on. Here we go. Y'all know I'm new to this thing. Here we go. That driving me crazy. That's about
Yeah.
to be part of my motivational speech that I'm about to start doing. Driving
Yes.
me crazy. Y'all look out for. I was really, really blessed yesterday by somebody, Kevin McNeil. I'm gonna say his name, Kevin McNeil. He really blessed me and encouraged me and gave me some. Man, he gave me some tea, y'all. He gave me some
And
tea.
listen, you doing all this facilitating. I want to give you your kudos. I am
Thank you.
so damn proud of you.
Thank
I'm so proud of you
you.
for turning this lemon into lemonade. I'm proud of you for what you're gonna do, what is to come. I'm happy for you.
Thank
I'm very
you.
happy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all look, y'all gonna try to get my autograph now because we about to be big in this thing, right? We about to be big. Yeah, I got some nuggets. So, Dana, I appreciate you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I know we
You're
talk
welcome.
all the time.
Mhm.
I know a lot about your story and everything, but I wanted other people to see that mental illness comes in so many different forms.
Yeah.
Um, this no one can prepare. I know your mom had probably when she got married, because your daddy was fine, girl. When your mama married your daddy, look, your mom was fine too. Let's just call a spade a spade. And
Lord have.
she had their little girl. The last thing your mom even probably could imagine was
Yeah.
this being a part of her life. She
Hmm.
probably could not imagine this. No one can prepare for this. So
Yeah.
I bring people on to show mental health comes in all kind of ways. It can come through your father. It can come through your children. It can come through your mother. It can come through your sister, but I bring people on to share their testimonies. It can be themselves. I bring people on to share their story so you can see there is no prototype for mental health. There is no
Yeah.
billboard for it. It don't look any kind of way. It looks like me. It looks like Dana. It looks like her fine daddy. It looks like, I'm telling y'all, the joke's fine. If I had his pictures, I'd have put them up.
Oh my.
It looks there is no way it looks right. So I bring people on to share their stories, share their testimony, that it can come out of nowhere. It can start when you're a kid, or it may not start when you're a kid. It can come when you're 10, 11, 12, 13, or it can come when you 19, 20, or it can come when you 35 or 40. Because guess what? None of us are exempt. You know how they say we're one paycheck short from being just like them people on the street? Well, you
Yes.
are one mistake short from being like these people on the street. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much. It could be one traumatic event that happens to you. It could be the death of your parent. It could be the death of your child. It could be a divorce. It could be that marijuana, somebody's weed that you smoked. It could be a drink you had at the club. It could be anything that can cause mental health to come into your life. And it doesn't have to be as severe as schizophrenia, but trust and believe, bipolar,
Yes.
anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
all that stuff can take a toll on you and your family. So I bring
Yeah.
people on so you can see that there is no way. I appreciate you all for coming on here with me. Dana, I appreciate you. I love you. You are my sister from another mister, from your fine daddy. Let me quit. Miss Sheila. He fine, all right, Miss Sheila.
Bye.
He
Bye,
fine.
honey.
So we ain't gone just yet. Got a couple little things I gotta share, and then we about to go. Hold on 1 second for me. Let me pop that. Latoya, yes, it does. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. Let's see. Y'all know the protocol. Y'all know the housekeeping rules. Please subscribe, like,
Yes.
share,
Please
subscribe,
share.
like, and share. We are growing this thing. I can't do this by myself. You got to get other people involved to help me out so we can get this thing going, right? So
Mhm.
when you guys are watching foolishness, just tune back to me. Tune back
Yes.
to me and share my stuff. So when you share them foolishness videos on how y'all give a bald head man a whole weave of braids and locks, when you're sharing that foolishness, come back and share mine, okay? If you know somebody who wants to be a guest on the show, I'm always looking for guests to be on the show. You can reach me at Mission for Mental Health. Email me. You all can get my phone number. You could get all up in my I got some fools, y'all. Y'all get all up in my DMs like them fools. Get up in there too if you want to. I read everything. Guess what? I be commenting and reading what them fools are saying. But if you want to be a guest on the show, hit me up on all my social media at Mission for Mental Health. And email me, missionformentalhealth@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys for watching. Next week, my girl Iwana is going to be on here. I just got chills just now by saying her name. Just by saying Iwana's name, I got chills because her story, she was supposed to be on a few weeks ago, but she had like an emergency with her son. But I got chills because I already know how deep her story is going to be. I already know. So I will see you guys next Wednesday. Rewatch. There go my baby. Let's
Say
see.
hey
Let
to
me look and
Auntie
see.
Jack.
Gumbo.
Say hey.
Hey, Gumbo. Hey. They're like, who else crazy? Tomorrow it'll be on Anchor FM. You can check it out on Spotify. So it'll be on
Okay.
Spotify. Right? All right. I love you guys. Enjoy. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.